Most Spanish learners find out there are two ways to say is in Spanish, and then they panic. Es or está? Which is it? Today, I want to take away that panic completely, because by the end of this lesson, you'll know exactly which one to use when you ask where someone is or how someone is. And here's the part that will stick with you all week. Today's song is a bachata from the Dominican Republic, and our heartbroken singer keeps asking, "Where is my love? ¿Dónde está mi amor?" That's our lesson right there. It's in the music. Vamos. Before we dive in, let's warm up. Every lesson begins with a quick review to show you how much Spanish you already know. You've put in the work, and it shows. So do you remember our cute little mnemonic for Quién? That's right, our hip-knowing little owl. Quién? Who? The little key illustration is there to help you remember the pronunciation. Say it with me. Quién? Quién? Let's read this next slide together and ask, who deposited the money in the bank? ¿Quién depositó el dinero en el banco? Now think of someone's name and we'll answer that question. Depositó el dinero en el banco. Excelente. How about our other mnemonic to remember where? Yep, our anguished werewolf asking, ¿Dónde? Let's read this next slide together as we ask, where did you park the car? ¿Dónde estacionó el auto? Now let's answer it and say, I parked the car in front of the bank. Estacioné el auto en frente del banco. Excelente. Look at you. You just used the past tense with donde. That is real Spanish. We're going to keep working with our werewolf today, and we'll add a new question word, how? Cómo? And I'm excited about this one because these two words work beautifully together with today's grammar focus. So here's our plan for today. Two question words, ¿dónde and cómo, in the present tense. If you've been with me since chapter 1, you'll notice something different today. We've mostly been in the past tense. We're mixing it up. This is a big milestone. We'll do our speaking challenge so you can practice right away. We'll listen to a tender bachata song that's going to be stuck in your head all week so you'll remember our grammar point. And we'll end with a final activity that brings everything together. Madrigal opens chapter 9 with one simple statement. There are two ways to say is in Spanish, es and está. Now, if you've taken other Spanish classes or watched other videos, you've probably seen long, complicated lists explaining the difference between ser and estar, rules upon rules. And I understand why teachers do this, but here's the thing. Your goal is to respond quickly and with confidence. And as soon as you try to recall a rule, you freeze up. So our approach here is different. We try to learn the same way babies do, by listening, by responding, by letting the patterns sink in naturally. The good news? You've already been using es since chapter 2 with the cognates. Easy peasy. So today we're focusing on está because it's the form that goes hand in hand with dónde and cómo. And you're about to hear a native speaker use ¿dónde está in a song. It's another danceable one, only this time it's for close, slow dancing. Ichi. But first, pronunciation. So note that está has an accent mark. Say this with me. Está. ¿Dónde está? ¿Cómo está? Without the accent mark, the word is this. You've been saying this in many lessons already. Let's read these together and hear the difference. Esta mañana. Esta tarde. Esta noche. The accent marks are there to help you with pronunciation. Once you see that, you'll never mix them up again. Está, esta. Now here is something that's going to make your life much simpler. Rather than memorizing all 6 conjugations of estar in the present tense, we're focusing on just one, the third person singular. And here's why it's actually a 2-for-1. This form, está, covers he, she, and it, as well as you are. So when you're meeting someone new in a professional situation or simply showing good educación, which in Spanish means something closer to manners, you are completely covered. Look how simply we can respond to ¿Dónde está? In Spanish. You would need 4 different sentences to say just this in Spanish. Aren't you loving learning this language? Okay, here's where you start thinking in Spanish on your own. I'm going to show you 2 short dialogues. You'll be able to read them with expression, and you'll understand what you're saying. Don't worry about being perfect, just try. This is your brain locking that information in. You can do it. Here are a few extra words so you can feel completely comfortable going into the dialogues. These are some words that go with dónde, or where. You can probably recognize many of these because they look like cognates. La oficina, en el refrigerador. And I know that might be a tricky word to say, but luckily we can just say refri, like we say fridge. And notice the difference here. En la casa is in the house, but en casa is at home. These are some people that we might be asking about where they are or how they are. Un hombre is a man. Una mujer is a woman. Su familia means your family. And some responses for ¿Cómo? How? Or like, how are you? Or how is she? You could say muy bien or mucho mejor. Pero means but. And then you probably heard gracias, which is thank you. ¿Cómo está? Muy bien, gracias. ¿Cómo está su familia? Mi familia está muy bien, gracias. ¿Dónde está Roberto? Roberto está en la oficina. ¿Dónde está la doctora? La doctora está en el hospital. Now, if you're following along with Madrigal's book, you already know that the famous artist Andy Warhol did all of the illustrations. This next dialogue is a little silly, but silly is memorable. ¿Dónde está el diablo? El diablo está en el infierno. ¿Es Alberto un diablo? ¡Ay, no! Alberto no es un diablo. Alberto es terrible. Pero no es un diablo, es un hombre. ¿Es María un hombre? ¡Ay, no! Eso es ridículo. María no es un hombre. María es una mujer. So can you imagine yourself telling someone, eso es ridículo? And if you want to ask someone if everything is okay, check out how beautifully simple this is. ¿Está bien? You just lift your voice for the question. In the answer, está bien. The question and the answer are practically the same. You're thinking in Spanish here, not translating. Speaking challenge time. And I want you to actually say these out loud, not just read them. This is where the learning gets real. So now let's use ¿Cómo está? And ask about people. We'll do one together. ¿Cómo está usted? Pause it and try it on your own. I'll be right here when you come back. Did you do it? ¿Está bien? Now let's try it with ¿Dónde? Let's do 3 together, and then I'll give you time to do 3 on your own. ¿Dónde está el restaurante? ¿Dónde está el banco? ¿Dónde está el hospital? Now it's your turn. Try 3 questions on your own. I'll wait here. ¿Está bien? Did you do it? Good job. Muy bien. And you are going to sound so authentic after today's song. ¿Dónde está mi amor? And before we listen, I want to give you the full picture, the artist, the music, and why it matters. Our singer today is Zacarías Ferreira, and he comes from the Dominican Republic, a country where music isn't just entertainment, it is woven into the fabric of everyday life. Zacarías comes from a family of musicians and has been performing since he was very young. He has been called La Voz de la Ternura, or the voice of tenderness. And once you hear him sing, you will understand why completely. In this song, he is heartbroken. His love has left him, and he is searching, and he keeps asking the same question over and over and over again. ¿Dónde está mi amor? Where is my love? And that is your grammar lesson, right there in his heart. Now let's talk about this genre, bachata. Bachata was born in the Dominican Republic, and in 2019, UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, declared bachata an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. That is the world officially saying this music is irreplaceable. It is a living tradition that should be respected by all of us. And the reason? Listen to the music and watch the dancers. And after our language lesson here, please watch this wonderful video by Adam Taub, who has a whole YouTube channel with over 300 videos dedicated to bachata, with Dominicanos telling us in their own words why bachata is so important. It's subtitled, and you may surprise yourself with how much Spanish you understand as they speak. That's the bonus homework for you high achievers. Now, the lyrics here are very simple. You already know 75% of what's on this slide. So here's our question. ¿Dónde está mi amor? He's asking, where is my love? And so he begins by asking, when is she going to arrive? ¿Cuándo va a llegar? And then he asks, where is she? Where is my love? ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está mi amor? ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está mi amor? And then he goes on to say, I feel cold without her heat. Siento frío sin su calor. As you watch, notice how they move, how close they are, how every step follows the heartbeat of the music. Every song is a conversation between two people, and now this conversation is teaching you Spanish. ¿Cuándo va a llegar? ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está mi amor? ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está mi amor? Siento frío sin su calor. Siento frío sin su calor. ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está mi amor? ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está mi amor? Siento frío sin su calor. Siento frío. This is real Spanish you can use. When you hear ¿Dónde está mi amor?, you're not just learning grammar, you're connecting to a global culture, a UNESCO-recognized art form, and a tradition that spans generations. If you're enjoying this lesson and want to keep coming back every Sunday, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right now. Okay, before you dance away, we have our Spin and Speak challenge. We want to make sure you leave here thinking in Spanish. Vamos. So now this is your final activity. You've made it. We've been asking all along, where? Now these are some ways we can answer that question. You can see on the left side, these are the different people. We'll either say they are or are not in any of these places. La doctora está en el hotel. El mecánico no está en el garaje. El teléfono está en la oficina. El profesor no está en casa. El tren está en la estación. Su gorra está en el sofá. El dinero está en el banco. La ensalada no está en el refrigerador. Roberto está en el club. You can also go to the Spinning Wheel website. The link is in the description. So to recap what you learned in Chapter 9, ¿Dónde? Where. ¿Cómo? How. Está in the present tense is for you formally, or he, she, or it. Remember, we love that 2-for-1 conjugation. And está with an accent mark is different from esta without one. The accent mark is your friend. Every chapter you complete, the more you unlock this beautiful language and the culture, music, and people who speak it. Hope to see you in our next lesson. Thank you for joining me here at Tentáculo, Clases y Cultura. Yo me llamo Kelly. Muchas gracias y nos vemos.